Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to another daily devotion. And walking through this beautiful park here. And for my friends up north, sorry, I'm still down in Florida. It's about 85 degrees, but it's beautiful. So today I wanted to continue our walk through some of the devotions in our daily devotion. Our daily dose of worship section in our membership area. And today we're talking about a verse in 2 Corinthians. We're talking about what did I title this? Actually, I don't even know. But let me start here. Let me start by reading the devotion and reading the verse, and then we can kind of take it from there, okay? So here's the verse, all right? 2 Corinthians 7:1 is kind of the core verse that we're going to be chatting about today. And it says, "Because we have these promises, dear friends, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that can defile our body or our spirit. And let us work towards complete holiness because we fear God." So, a fairly loaded verse, a difficult verse, working towards complete holiness, not something that is on my to-do list when I wake up every single morning, but something that I think God continually calls us to do. So let me read it again, and then I'll read the devotion, and then we can wrestle with it, okay? "Because we have these promises, dear friends, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that can defile our body or spirit, and let us work towards complete holiness because we fear God." So, I'm a huge Keith Green fan, as a lot of you guys know. And this is a beautiful tree. I don't know if you guys can see this in the background here, but Keith has a song called "Create in Me a Clean Heart." And I love the tune. I should probably start playing it more. I've played it every once in a while, but I should probably start playing it a little bit more. And I love it because it is just this plea with God saying, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit in me," right? So renew a right spirit, renew a holy spirit, just renew my spirit to be clean, right? And so let me just kind of chat through this devotion. Okay, I'll just read it. I got it on my phone here. Paul speaking to the Corinthians and to us about the value of keeping ourselves, our bodies, and our spirits clean. The influence and persuasion that this world has in us and over us is overwhelming, right? Advertising, film, TV, music, the list just goes on and on and on. To maintain a clean heart and a spirit is a daily chore. Do we slip? Do we fall? Yes, regularly. Does God forgive? Yes, regularly, right? If you find yourself slipping and falling, fall into the open arms of our Savior who is waiting to catch us and renew us. Today, be cleansed by His Spirit. Be cleansed by His blood. Washed by His Spirit and renewed by His strength. Let your hearts not be troubled, for Jesus is walking with us in the midst of our slipping and our falling. He continues to hold us and to catch us. And I know we've spoken about this before. Maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was probably walking through another park up in maybe New Jersey. I like to walk through parks. I like to be in nature. For those of you who don't follow these devotions regularly, this is a place where I find a lot of God. And so I remember that devotion, and I remember just saying, sometimes it's good to kind of take inventory take kind of stock of what we're doing with our intake, with our thoughts, with the stuff we read, the stuff we watch, the stuff we think about, the stuff that kind of gets in us, right? And when we talk about creating a clean heart, creating a right spirit in us, I think that kind of has to be part of the equation, right? And I look at, I'll take some pictures of this maybe, or some video, but I look at what I'm looking at right now, and there's a cleanliness here, right? There's trees, the wind is blowing through the trees. There's clouds that are kind of puffing through the sky here. Just beyond the street over there is the ocean. There's a cleanliness to it all. And so God's model for us and model for our spirits, and kind of walking and talking through this and just kind of processing it in my mind, like, he sets the example for us of this cleanliness in the world that we live in, right? Here we are, sorry, I get wrapped up in this sometimes, but it's just, here we are in the midst of this world that is so incredibly beautiful and gorgeous, and there's just so much here. And there's a lot of garbage here. There's a lot of ugliness. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of stuff that gets into our hearts and our souls, stuff that we let in that we shouldn't be letting in. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was about hope. And hope, it was an interesting podcast because he kind of took it to a place that I normally wouldn't have gone, with the idea and the thought of hope, right? Hope. What he was saying was that he was talking about, I think it was Rob Bell, but it might have been somebody else. But he was talking about how what we take in every day, a lot of it is our own fault. Because the thought was, okay, we take this in every day. We're looking at our social media feed, whether it's Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, whatever it is that you absorb every day. And when you click on something, it tells the algorithm, hang on, I gotta move my wind filter, else it's gonna dive into the camera shot here. But it tells the algorithm that you actually like that. So then it starts to feed you more and more and more of this. And so I started thinking about that, and I was like, wow, how jaded can our outlook become when we continue to feed the machine and allow it to feed us what we're looking for, as opposed to the truth, or as opposed to looking for opposite opinions so that we can kind of work through in our own minds all of it, right? Like, how do we have a non-biased opinion when everything being fed to us is very biased towards the thought that we have? Does that make sense? And so, just to break it down and come back down to what Paul is talking about in 2 Corinthians, like, and this idea of, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that can defile our body or our spirit. And let us work towards complete holiness because we fear God. Look, the back half of this verse, let us work towards complete holiness. I mean, let's just talk about that for a minute. Working towards complete holiness. A completely losing battle if Jesus isn't involved in the equation, right? If Jesus is not involved in the equation, then we are just going to continually fall back in our own humanness and in our own ugliness, right? And so, I don't know, maybe there's something to chat about here with that. Maybe there's a conversation to be had about what that looks like. But let's just think on that just for a minute, okay? Think on, what are we letting into our lives that probably isn't or shouldn't be there, right? What does that look like for you? Yeah, that's a really good thing to think about in the morning. If you're watching this in the morning, welcome to a new day. Start analyzing your habits and just take a peek at them. But the thought of that is, what does that look like? What are you letting into your mind and into your soul that maybe you shouldn't be? Take just a couple of minutes and think about that. So, pretty good question. Let me read this verse again and kind of kick back into this. So, because we have these promises, dear friends, let us cleanse ourselves from everything that can defile our body or our spirit. Let us work towards complete holiness because we fear God. Right? So this idea of complete holiness, again, tough thought, but something to work towards. And I think the only way to kind of really lean into that is to just say, God, today, through Jesus, lead me closer and closer to complete holiness. It even sounds ridiculous to even say it, because there's no way. I'm going to have to dig a little deeper into this verse and maybe put it down in a note or something, because this idea of complete holiness is beyond, our thoughts. It's beyond our mind. But you have to stop and just think, if you're a follower of Jesus, when God looks at us, who does he see? He sees Jesus, right? And so we get caught up in, I have a line in a song, and it's a line that I heard, it must have been a quote that I heard somewhere, but it's like, or something to this idea of the sins we can't forget, he doesn't remember. And so we're continually coming down on ourselves because of all this sin in our life. And God's just like, wait, I'm looking at Jesus right now. And that's whole other conversation. But let's come back to the core of what this verse is about. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Right? Let my heart desperately seek the things that are of the Father. Good conversation. Good conversation. Good conversation to have with yourself. Good conversation to have with God, where we just say, maybe that's your prayer today. As you kind of, again, we do these I release them on Saturdays so that we can just kind of spend a minute to just slow down. And so maybe the conversation is, God, today, examine my heart. I was just reading this in Psalm the other day, and we've devotion done this before too, but God, search my heart. See if there's any wickedness in it. right? There's wickedness all around. And so, God, search my heart. And what are the things that pull you away from God? What are the things that distract you from God? What are the things that are getting in the way of your walk with God, right? I love just sitting here and asking questions, because I'm basically asking myself the question too and saying, what is getting in the way? What is getting in the way today? And so here we are, watching another devotion, trying to think about who God is and how he works in my life. And man, I just want to encourage you today. All right? Encourage you, even though like this verse is fairly convicting and it kind of tilts everything a little bit in a way that we can't quite comprehend. I'm hoping that it brings to the surface a few questions, and maybe there's some habits that need to be broken. Maybe there's some subscriptions that need to be canceled. Maybe there's a thought pattern in your head that needs to be pushed somewhere else. Yeah? I don't know. Think about it. Again, we take this time so that we can stop, think, pray, let God speak to our hearts and our souls. Let him speak to all that we think is right, and we want him to influence it. So today, think on what needs to be gotten rid of. Think on what needs to be taken out of your life. Think on the things that bring more of Jesus into your life. Think on the things that create a cleaner heart. And that last sentence kind of just takes me for a little bit of a journey in my mind. Like, what are the things that'll create in me a cleaner heart? Bottom line, more of Jesus there. So what does that look like for you? More devotions? Maybe not more devotions, but more devotional time? Maybe. More time just reading the Bible, reading authors that are speaking on Jesus, listening to podcasts that talk about Jesus. All of the above, right? All of the above. In this world where there's so much media, I'm struggling with all of this right now, this content creation. And is it working? Is it bringing anything in? Talk about that later. But in this world where there's so much media and everything is just kind of grasping for our attention, the first person that should be getting our attention is Jesus. That's it. So today, as you wrestle with this, as you just kind of think about what this looks like for you, because it's different for all of us, right? We're all hooked on something that should be out of our life. We all are. Just be honest. So think about what that is in your life and how to get rid of it. What do you do? Unsubscribe to something, cancel a subscription, give away a bunch of books to, Goodwill or the Salvation Army. I don't know. Think on it. What's God speaking to you today? All right, guys. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for being here. And conviction is something that we need in our lives, because the world tells us, always be looking out for yourself, be good to yourself, do all this stuff. And it's good to have all of that in your life, but the world's view of what's good and God's view of what's good is very different. Very, very different. So let's lean into that. All right. Hey, if you want to join us, please do. I can't continue to do this without support from people like you. There's no label here. There's no management team. There's just us together as a community, building this each and every day, each and every week. And so when you join our membership program, you have access to over 300 hours of content. It's probably 400 now. You help us save a life. We sponsor kids through our membership program. You're helping me continue the work that we're all doing together. You're letting me get out there, putting gas in the car, getting hotels so I can go play shows. Last weekend, but we had an incredible weekend. So 3 people come to Jesus, had a spontaneous baptism in the afternoon. 12 kids get sponsored. This is what happens when we go out. Like, this is how it works. This is why I want to go out more. I want to be out on the road so that we can affect and change people's lives. So it all starts in our membership program. So just go to joindaysband.com, get involved there. You can use the code 25 off forever if you want 25% off of your membership forever. It's a great place to come together. We've got an amazing community of people. All right? So join us. Head over to joindaysband.com. Use that code 25 off forever, and together we can see more lives affected by all of this. And that's it. I'm gonna sign off. Okay. Thanks for being here. Pray this today. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit in me. And see what happens. Let God speak to your soul today. Alrighty? Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.